All right, this is our second lesson on triangle congruence. So in class today, we learned about the theorems for how to prove triangles are congruent. I just want to show you a few kind of trick questions, or not trick questions, but tricky questions that you might encounter. So I want to show you when you've got two triangles pushed together. So notice that this is, you've got triangle ABC here, and that you also have triangle BCD, okay? So we still want to kind of think about those as separate things. If you notice right now, you've got a side and an angle, but we need three pieces of information on the same triangle. So the other piece of information that you're going to have here is this shared side. So notice that BC happens in both triangles, both for that blue one and the yellow one. So even if we split the triangles apart, it would be the same size on both of them. So I'm going to mark that with these two little hash marks. Okay, so now if I go through and look at my two triangles, on ABC I've got a side, an angle, and then another side. That side's in between, so this is side, angle, side. And I can do the same thing on BD. I have a side, an angle, and that side that they share. So that's also side, angle, side. So we're going to say that shared side is congruent, and what we're going to write, because I want you to like know how this is, you're going to see this, it's going to say BC is congruent to BC because of something called the reflexive property. And all that means is that something is congruent to itself. All right, let's look at this other kind of example. This one is different. They don't have a shared side, but they do kind of have a spot that we see that's similar. So first let me highlight the two triangles. Okay, so notice on this one, I've got a side and an angle, but I'm missing another piece of information again. So I only have two. That means there's a third one that's hidden somewhere. So what I would like for you to hopefully remember is think about when you have angles that make this X. What's true about these angles? What are they called and what's true about them? And hopefully you're remembering that those are vertical angles. So right here, I see these vertical angles that are across from each other at that point O, which means those are going to be congruent. So I'm going to mark them congruent, and I should use two marks since the other angle already has one. Now I can decide what theorem I have. So I've got an angle, a side, and then another angle right here, which means this is going to be angle, side, angle. If you check the other one, you're going to have the same, kind of the same thing. So what we want to do is write that these vertical angles are congruent. And so we're going to say a statement that says that. And when we do that, notice that I have to use three letters because there's a few angles coming off this letter O right here. So I'm going to say NOP, that's going to be my first angle, is congruent to angle MOL. That's going to be that angle up there at the top. And the reason for that is going to be vertical because they're vertical angles. All right, let's look at one quick proof. Okay, so just like what we did in class with all those theorems that we did, we're going to be trying to identify what theorem we see here. So I notice I've got an angle, two sets of angles, and the side that connects them, which is going to make this angle, side, angle, and the same thing on the other one. All right, so now that I know I have angle, side, angle, I need to go ahead and list my stuff. So we kind of practiced this in class today. We're just going to talk about how to reorganize that just a little bit. So the first thing you all know that you put in any proof is the given. So notice this time they give me a handful of given statements, and we are actually going to write those out this time. So I'm going to organize. I've got angle, side, angle. These are going to represent three different steps in my proof. Okay? And the nice thing is they give us all of these. So like one of the angles is J is congruent to M. So we're going to write angle J is congruent to angle M. That's given. Then they give me the side. JK is congruent to MN. Notice that I am literally just reading this given statement up here at the top. Okay, and then that's also given. So there's another line that says that that information is given. All right, angle K is congruent to angle N. That's also given. So now this is this angle side angle is kind of like a checklist. So we can kind of check off, well, I've said all three of those things are congruent, so now I can say the triangles are congruent. And luckily enough, they go ahead and tell me all what that is supposed to be in order. Angle JKL, and we just want to check that they're right. Sometimes they have typos. JKL does go with MNO, right? So MNO. And the reason that you put out here is the triangle theorem that you use. So in this case, we're going to put angle side angle is the theorem that we used. All right, that's what you need for your notes tomorrow.